What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel Demita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Here we are again with more WNBA CBA updates. Who's ready for some more drama? Raise your hand. Anyway, I did not think that I would be filming another WNBA CBA update video for you guys, and it's not my favorite topic to cover, but I do want to keep you guys informed, and there was some new information that came out just today from Annie Costabile. Shout out to Annie Costabile. She has been on top of all of this, and I feel like she has been breaking some major news when it comes to the WNBA's new CBA that they're still trying to work out. Now, in yesterday's
You have to hear this, because the WNBA just made a move so unbelievably short-sighted that people are genuinely stunned. Right in the middle of what should have been groundbreaking contract negotiations, while the league is flashing around huge new salary numbers, they suddenly pulled the rug out from under their own players. They're stripping away a benefit that has been absolutely essential for years: team-provided housing. This announcement hit like a bombshell, sparking instant backlash and leaving everyone, from players to fans, asking the same question: who is making these decisions?
Extended once again, and now the deadline is January 9th to get a deal done. But Annie Costabile just reported today that the WNBA proposes cutting team housing and an earlier start to the season. The league is proposing a 7-figure base maximum salary, but it's coming at a cost. Now, I'll go over really quick the latest monetary offer that the league proposed to the players, and I talked about this in yesterday's episode in a voiceover.
And this isn't just a bad negotiation tactic. This is a catastrophic gamble that could completely destroy the trust between the players and the league office. It exposes a leadership group that seems totally out of touch with reality. The craziest part? This tone-deaf proposal comes at the exact same time the league is announcing massive 7-figure salaries. Yes, on the surface, it looks like a historic win. A projected base salary of $1 million. Potential to earn up to $1.2 million with revenue sharing. And multiple players could hit that number by 2026. This should be a moment of celebration. But instead it feels like a classic Trojan horse. Because when you look at the fine print, they're taking away essential support systems at the exact same time they're offering big checks. It feels like a flashy distraction, a smokescreen covering up aggressive cost-cutting that'll make players' lives harder.
Really stood out to me because just last season, the max salary in the WNBA was around $220,000. Now that is going to be the minimum salary that a player can receive playing in the WNBA. So you can see the huge leap that the WNBA is offering when it comes to purely how much the players would make off of their salaries. Now, the biggest sticking point for the players has been the revenue sharing.
The generosity feels fake when it's tied to a backward-thinking policy, like removing guaranteed housing. Yes, the salaries are going up. Average salary expected to jump past $500,000. Minimum salary rising over $225,000. Last season's Supermax was only $249,000. This is undeniably huge, financially. But pairing historic pay raises with eliminating a basic necessity, like housing, creates instant conflict and wipes out most of the goodwill.
Those targets, they will get this revenue, and the salary cap will continue to increase as seasons go by. Now for the kicker, the brand new nugget of information that we found out just today, and that is that the league has removed team housing from proposals submitted to the WNBPA. Teams have been required to provide players with in-season housing since 2016, and this is something very similar to what they do in the G League. So for G League players, they're provided housing. The G League players don't make nearly as much as NBA players do, and obviously it's a developmental league. Some G League players get pulled up to the NBA, some go back and forth between the NBA.
The league claims it's finally fixing revenue sharing, a system players have complained about for years. No more unrealistic revenue targets. Now, salary caps would grow right alongside league revenue. Sounds great on paper, but here's the problem. Every positive improvement is being completely drowned out by the takeaways. Instead of a real compromise, it feels like a desperate magic trick, distracting from policies that are deeply unpopular and wildly out of touch with players' needs. And nothing has infuriated people more than this.
You're to be making real money. Of course, they're not going to be paying for housing. I'm sorry, it makes sense to me. And I know a lot of the WNBA fans online are like, how dare you take away the housing? How dare you take away the housing? Well, if these players are making over $1 million, they should be taking away the housing. That's an added cost for the league. And hopefully it gets to the point where everybody is making significant amounts of money and they can pay for their housing. Now, people were bringing up, what about the players who are coming in on hardship contracts? What about the players who, are in and out or on 10 days or whatever, like not those players who are obviously fundamental pieces to different teams. And I do think like there's no way that
the total removal of team provided housing. Since 2016, WNBA teams have been required to provide in-season housing, a standard you even see in the G League, which develops NBA-level talent. Yes, players could choose their own place and take a monthly stipend, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,600 depending on the city. But removing this benefit entirely, people are calling it inexplicable, tone-deaf, embarrassing, a massive step backward. It shows a leadership group completely disconnected from the daily lives of its own athletes, especially rookies and lower-paid players.
That is expected to interfere with the NCAA tournament and potentially other leagues such as Project B. The start date for the training camp could be as early as mid-March, sources indicated. The current 44-game regular season runs from mid-May to early September. The 2025 WNBA Finals ended on October 10th. I'm laughing because it's just crazy to see how short the season actually is when they put it like that. Mid-May to September, so May, June, July, August, September. It's not even a full 5 months for the teams that don't make it into the playoffs. For the teams that make it into the finals, it's 6 months of basketball. That's a very short season.
And when you compare this to the G League, the WNBA's decision becomes even more baffling. G League players, who make way less, still receive housing or a stipend. If the WNBA wants to be seen as a top professional league, eliminating something so basic makes absolutely no sense. Yes, the league says players will make enough now to pay for housing, but that ignores what housing provides. Stability, safety, practical support, a smooth transition into a new city. Removing it isn't just a bad idea. It's a classic short-sighted cost-cutting move.
Back to my point of we want to see the WNBA become a major sports league and be highly regarded and highly respected and have this be their full-time job. Like I feel like everybody's goal, if they get the right people in place in leadership in the WNBA, because it's kind of a mess from top down, but everybody's goal should be like, this should be their full-time job. The players shouldn't have to play in off-season leagues to make more money. They shouldn't want to play in off-season leagues to make more money. They should want to take those 3-4 months when we're talking about other leagues like the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. They would want that off season to rest their bodies, to rejuvenate.
And the players who get hurt the most? Lower tier players and short-term contract players. Players on hardship deals could literally be left scrambling to find housing in a brand new city with almost no warning. This is more than a mistake. It's a failure to protect the league's most vulnerable workers.
On the success that you have, now they're in a super sticky spot. Now they're in a spot where there's players in the WNBPA who are signed to rival leagues, who own rival leagues. Do you think that Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart are going to be?
But it gets worse. The league also wants to lengthen the season, starting training camps as early as mid-March instead of mid-May. That means crashing directly into the NCAA tournament. Project B, unrivaled. Overseas leagues where players earn major income. This isn't just a scheduling conflict, it's a direct assault on player autonomy and financial stability. Players would be forced to choose: join WNBA training camp or keep their off-season income that many depend on.
Cut into unrivaled season. Do you think NECA's going to be happy that the WNBA is going to try to get them back into training camp in March and she will just be coming off of Project B where they're also making millions of dollars in Project B? I honestly don't even have a suggestion at this point, but I will say I have been one of the people since the beginning of time who has said there's no way.
International players have it even worse. WNBA overseas back to WNBA. Non-stop. Year-round grind. An earlier season compresses their schedule even more, offering almost zero off-season recovery. Trying to force the WNBA into being a full-time job without a full-time salary structure or global calendar integration is reckless.
$1 million with potential earnings from revenue sharing, increasing that number to $1.2 million, and multiple players per team can be up for that supermax contract salaries. Now, the biggest sticking point for the players has been the revenue sharing, but the salary cap is currently at $1.5 million per team, and this would increase to $5 million. And under the league's most recent proposal, the salary cap would grow with the league and team revenue regardless of.
And then there's the draft. If the season starts in March, that means the draft happens during the NCAA season impossible. Or players get drafted and have to sit out a year, also impossible. This shows a leadership team making huge decisions without even considering the chain reaction it creates. This entire situation feels like the result of years of neglect. The WNBA has been treated as an afterthought, even by the NBA, which owns half the league. Now the league is rushing to capitalize on its new popularity. But instead of smart, long-term planning, we're seeing reactive, sloppy decisions. And these decisions are exposing just how unprepared the current leadership is to handle the momentum the league finally has.